I know teachers who continue their own education at their own expense. They don't even look around for a district or anyone else to help pay their expense. What's the advantage to this kind of approach? What's the advantage of an individual, regardless of what the expense, paying for their own continuing education? We'll get you the advantages in a few moments. But before we do, let's remind ourselves of what we're doing. We're in a series called Socrates' Three Secrets to Teaching with Fire, and Carta Curricula is about igniting the fire for learning, literature, and life. And we do that through these close readings. And we've been closely reading the man Socrates. We've been understanding what his ideas are that Plato wrote down for Socrates and that we find in this magnificent book right here called The Treasury of Western Thought. So, in the last time we were together, we took a look at Socrates' first part of this passage where he says, "Indeed, Lysichamus, I should be very wrong in refusing to aid in the improvement of anyone." In lesson one, we realized that aiding in the improvement of people is what teachers do. And that's how you gain fire for your teaching, is that you aid people in their improvement. The second thing that we learned on the very next lesson, lesson number two, is that we found out a teacher has lacks knowledge in any way, that they should not prefer themselves over another. They should feel that they are equal. Teacher and student are equal to one another. Now we are in the final part of this particular quote, and we are taking a look at the last section, the last secret of Socrates in this quote about how to teach with fire. So let's take a look and see what he says. I'll read it and then we'll make some sense from it by closely unpacking it and dissecting some parts of what we're trying to understand from it. And then we'll apply it to how we might be able to teach with fire. And under these circumstances, what circumstances is that? I'll go over that in a minute. Let me offer you a piece of advice, and this need not go further than ourselves. I maintain, my friends, that every one of us should seek out the best teacher whom he can find, first for ourselves, who are greatly in need of one, and then for the youth, regardless of expense or anything. But I cannot advise that we remain as we are. And if anyone laughs at us for going to school at our age, I would quote them the authority of Homer, who says modesty is not good for a needy man. Let's take a look at this. Early on, he's connecting what's being said in this part of the selection with the last part of the selection, and that is you're equal with students, especially if you're perplexed just like they are about a particular topic. And he says, let me offer you a piece of advice, and this need not go further than ourselves. He's like, hey, look, let me give you some advice, and don't talk about this beyond us. But he says, I maintain, my friends, that every one of us should seek out the best teacher whom he can find. So looking for someone to teach us or some place to learn. So it doesn't necessarily need to be someone. In our instance, it could be information in a book, information online. But the point is to learn for yourself first. And how is it that you ought to learn? Who are greatly in need of one. So we're all greatly in need of one. And then for the youth, you learn for yourself, and then you try to find someone who will teach the youth. It's that progression. So teacher learn for themselves, and then the teacher find someone who will be able to teach the youth if it's not you. But I cannot advise that we remain as we are. And if one laughs at us, he said, look, but please don't just be the same person that you were before. He's offering the secrets to living with fire. He's saying, don't be that same person. Live with fire by learning and figuring out some way to learn, regardless of expense right here. It doesn't matter the price. No price is too great to actually figure out a way to understand something. And if people laugh at you because you're a teacher, but you're looking to learn, who cares? And he quotes Homer, the author of Iliad and the Odyssey, and obviously a person who is an authority figure, and he appeals to their authority. He says, modesty is not good for a needy man. So in this instance, modesty um, is not necessarily seen as a virtue. So if you're needy, you figure out a way to get what you need. It's like that quote that says, beggars can't be choosers. You just go figure it out. You figure it out. So if you have a need, just like when I started this lesson, some teachers decide to pay for themselves to get training, even if the district or the school is not willing to pay. If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do, because you need to see yourself as a needy person who is in need of the knowledge necessary to teach the young people. And this is how you teach with fire. It's not looking to the left or to the right to see who will pay your expense on that particular set of learning that you need, the skill, the knowledge, the understanding that you need. Is look, if no one is willing to pay for it, you pay it for it at your own expense. And who cares who looks on and does not think that you should be going after this knowledge, understanding, or information? You need to figure out a way to go after this knowledge, understanding, information. And modesty in that instance is not good for you, because in that instance, you are a needy person. Fire, fire. Teach them the fire is what we're trying to do. Let's take a quick recap. Secret number one: give aid to students who need it. Secret number two: think of yourselves as equal to your students. And secret number three: continue your education. It is with these three secrets that you and I can live with fire. Reignite the fire for learning, for literature, and life today.